My girlfriend's coworker slipped up and asked how she was doing after the party. I asked what party. 2 hours later, I found the video of her dancing on top of a guy at the company retreat. I watched it once. I packed my things and disappeared. She called me 47 times that night. I never answered. I'm not a jealous guy. I never have been. If anything, I've always been a little too trusting. The boyfriend who's sure to have fun, who never checked her phone or questioned her friendships or asked where she was going. I stupidly believed that mutual respect was enough. That if you loved someone, you didn't need to interrogate them. You didn't need to track their location. You just trusted. That day taught me exactly how wrong I was. It started with something small, stupid. A comment, 1 sentence, 7 words. I had stopped by her office building that afternoon to drop off her laptop charger. She had forgotten it that morning and sent me a panicked message. I figured I'd swing by during my lunch break, drop it off, and then maybe we could grab a quick coffee together. That's when I ran into Marcus in the lobby. "Hey man," said Marcus, her coworker, with that fake friendly cheerfulness. "How is she doing after the party?" I blinked. "What party?" He froze. Actually froze like someone had paused him with a remote. His eyes widened slightly. Then he covered it with a laugh that was too loud. "Oh, nothing. Never mind, man." "No," I said calmly, neutrally. "What party?" His face went red and he rubbed the back of his neck. "I just thought you knew. It's not important." That was the turning point, the strangeness. The immediate shift from casual coworker chat to evasive panic. The way he couldn't look me in the eye. The way he shuffled his feet just like a child caught doing something wrong. Something twisted inside me. I didn't press. I didn't accuse. I didn't even let my voice rise a notch. I just repeated quietly, "What party?" He faked a cough. "Office retreat last weekend." "She didn't tell you." That was when I realized something was wrong. Not just because she hadn't mentioned it, though that was strange enough, but because she had told me she spent that weekend at her friend Jessica's house having a self-care weekend. Girls' night, she called it. Face masks, wine, movies. I had even bought their favorite snacks. I stayed home alone, not thinking anything of it. Now Marcus was acting like a man about to bolt. "Right," I said. "The retreat?" He nodded with excessive enthusiasm. Yeah, that's it. It was nothing. Just team-building activities. Totally routine. Sure, routine. Except he looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. He fled with some excuse about a meeting and I didn't chase him. I didn't go upstairs to see her. I left the charger at reception and walked back to my car. I sat there for a while, staring at the dashboard, feeling this heavy, nauseating sensation in my stomach. She had lied. That alone wasn't proof of anything, but it was enough to make my brain run through the greatest hits. The sudden need to be alone, constantly checking her phone, the new friendships at the office, the nights she'd come home late with no cause for concern, explanations, the strange emotional distance. I had ignored all of it. She said it was stress, work, hormones, life, anything but the truth. I didn't want to assume the worst. I didn't want to be that guy. So I forced myself to breathe. I tried to convince myself it was nothing. Maybe she just didn't want to talk about her work on her days off. That maybe the retreat was boring or insignificant or something she didn't bother to mention. But then came the second blow. 2 hours later, while sitting in my car outside a cafe, I was scrolling through Instagram. That's when I saw it. Someone had posted a story from the retreat posted just an hour ago. Not her, a coworker of hers I barely knew. The type of person who tags everyone without thinking. The retreat had been last weekend, but people were still posting old photos and videos. I went through all the images. Office colleagues posing by a lake. Someone doing stand-up paddle boarding. People laughing around a bonfire. Normal. Then came the video. A crowded dance floor. Loud music. Heavy beats coming from behind the phone speaker. Flashing lights. And there she was. In the center of the frame, dancing on top of a guy. Not just dancing. Pressed against him in a way that made my whole body freeze. His hands on her waist, her arms around his neck, her head tilted back as she laughed. Her smile. I knew that smile. It was the smile she wore when she forgot the world existed. The smile I used to think was just for me. I watched it only once. Just once. That's all it took. I didn't rage. I didn't break anything. I didn't call her screaming. I didn't even get emotional. I just felt everything inside go empty, silent, like someone had muted the sound in my head. I checked the time. She'd be at work for a few more hours. I had time. I drove home, entered our apartment, looked around at the furniture we bought together, the photos of us on the wall, the silly vacation souvenirs. I saw the sweater she had borrowed from me that was lying on the couch, the one I always thought looked good on her. I picked it up and folded it. Then I started packing, not frantically, not angrily, methodically. I grabbed the empty cardboard boxes from the closet and started filling them with my things. My clothes, my books, my records, my laptop. Everything that was mine went into my car load after load. I wasn't packing us up. That would have warned her immediately. I was removing myself from the equation entirely. I took only what was mine. I left the furniture we had bought together. I left the photos on the walls. I left everything shared exactly where it was. The apartment would look the same when she walked in, except I wouldn't be in it anymore. By evening, my car was loaded. The apartment looked untouched, like I had just stepped out to run errands. I took the key off my keychain and placed it on the kitchen counter. Then I left and locked the door with the spare I kept in my wallet. I slipped it under the door when I was finished. No note, no explanation. She knew what she was doing. She didn't deserve my words. When I closed the apartment door behind me for the last time, the click felt definitive, solid, like something had locked into place inside me. I drove to a hotel, nothing fancy, just clean and quiet, and checked in. Right then she texted saying, "Babe, I'm heading home. Want me to grab dinner?" I didn't respond. Then, "Are you there?" I didn't respond. Then, "Is something wrong?" Still silence. Then the first call. I ignored it. 20 minutes later, another. I ignored it. Then another. Ignored. Then the flood started. Back to back. One after another. Relentlessly. She had come home and found the apartment empty. Not empty of furniture, but empty of me. My clothes were gone from the closet. The toothbrush was gone from the bathroom. My shoes were gone from the shelf. My laptop, my books, my guitar, all gone. At first, she probably thought I was just out, maybe grabbing dinner, maybe going to the gym. But as the minutes turned into an hour and my things remained missing and I didn't answer, she started to panic. 47 calls by 2 in the morning. 47. All unanswered. She left voicemails. She sent paragraphs. She sent confused, angry, desperate messages. I didn't respond to a single thing. Not one. Because the moment I saw that video, the moment I watched her wrap her arms around another guy, like I had never mattered, something finally shifted inside me. I had been loyal. I had been patient. I had been trusting. And she had thrown it all away for a weekend getaway and a moment of attention. I didn't rage. I didn't beg. I didn't negotiate with someone who had already chosen someone else, even if just for one night. I simply walked away. I didn't owe her closure. I didn't owe her tears. I didn't owe her my breakdown. She made her choice and I made mine. I didn't sleep at all that first night. Not because I was heartbroken. I was already past that. I just couldn't turn my brain off. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that video. Not the dancing, the smile, that genuine uninhibited joy on her face as she was pressed against someone else. The phone on the nightstand vibrated incessantly until around 2 in the morning it stopped. I assumed her battery had died or she finally realized I wasn't reacting the way she expected, because that's what happens. She expected a reaction, yelling, tears, arguments, accusations, the whole dramatic performance that she could twist us both saying things we didn't mean. She wanted a commotion. I gave her silence. Silence is harder to manipulate. Around 6 in the morning she tried again. 2 calls, 1 message. "Babe, please pick up." Right. That's what you call a guy when you're done dancing on another man at a work event you conveniently forgot to mention existed. By morning she changed tactics. "We need to talk." She needed to rewrite the story so she didn't look like the villain. I put the phone face down and went out for coffee. By noon her tone changed again. "Where are you?" "I'm worried." Worried that she'd lost her safety net. Not worried about me. By the time the sun set again she escalated. "If you don't respond, I'm coming to find you." She wasn't. She didn't even know where to look. She called again twice and then sent a paragraph message about communication and misunderstandings and how she didn't mean anything by it. I didn't respond to that either. I didn't feel obligated to explain the basics of respect to someone who clearly didn't understand the concept. By evening she finally got to the stage I'd been waiting for. "Can we just restart and begin again?" There it was. The panic, the fear, the realization that her little harmless fun had consequences. But here's the thing. I had no interest in watching her cycle of denial, manipulation, justification, and bargaining. I had seen enough. I checked out of the hotel the next morning, grabbed my bag and drove to my brother's house 2 hours away. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and pointed to the guest room. The calls continued. Her messages piled up. Her desperation escalated. I remained silent, and the silence was louder than anything I could have said. By the 3rd day she went into full revisionist mode. I knew this would happen. Those who cheat always rewrite the story. Not because they believe the lie but because they desperately need you to believe it. Her first attempt came mid-morning. First message. Can we talk? It wasn't what it looked like. Of course, it never is, right? Her second attempt came an hour later. Text number 2. You're blowing this out of proportion. Translation. Your actions created the mess and somehow I was now responsible for her discomfort. Then the voicemails arrived. She must have realized the text messages weren't having an effect. I didn't listen to them. I read the previews. A few desperate lines were enough. Please answer. We can work this out. You're not even giving me a chance to explain. I didn't do anything wrong. Really? Dancing with another guy at a party you hid from me? Totally innocent behavior, right? I could almost hear her pacing back and forth, spiraling, panicking. Not because she lost me. I doubt she even understood what that meant, but because she lost control of the narrative. That night she tried a new approach. You're acting childish. There it was. Insult as a last resort. When manipulation doesn't work, they go to disrespect. When disrespect doesn't work, they go to victimization. When victimization doesn't work, they go to aggression. And when that doesn't work, they fall apart. Around midnight, she left another message. This one was different. The preview was longer, more chaotic. I don't deserve this. You're treating me like I don't even know what you think I did. I was just dancing. It didn't mean anything. You're the one making everything weird. Everyone dances at parties. It's normal. Great. Let her talk. Let her explain within a deadline. Let her try every tone in the book. Anger, laughter, false confusion, emotional manipulation, all without a single word from me. My silence was a mirror. All she saw in it was herself. The next day the calls diminished, not because she had calmed down, but because she was recalibrating her strategy. By midday she tried that sweet voice message, the one a small child uses when caught stealing cookies. Can we just put this behind us? I miss you. I love you. Please respond. Love. Interesting moment to remember that word. Later that afternoon I got a different type of text. The one written after she rehearsed in front of the mirror, trying to seem rational. I think the healthy thing is to communicate. Running away solves nothing. Running away. I didn't run. I walked calmly, quietly, efficiently. She was timing the messages now, spacing them out, trying not to look desperate. She was still desperate. Around 7 in the evening, she finally cracked and sent the confession she thought would reel me back in. I only danced with him because I felt insecure and wanted your attention. I didn't mean to hurt you. Yes, her pain was my fault now. Then I didn't tell you about the party because I didn't want you to overreact. Translation. She planned to hide it and she would have kept hiding it if the coworker hadn't slipped. Her panic wasn't that she danced with someone else. Her panic was that I found out. By nightfall, she tried calling from blocked numbers. I let them ring out. I didn't decline. Declining gives them power. It tells them you're watching. Letting it ring tells them nothing. She sent one final message before midnight. If you still care about me, please pick up. If not, I don't know what I'll do. A classic performative crisis. She was fishing for reassurance, not offering accountability. She didn't get either. I put the phone face down, turned off the lamp, and lay in the dark, listening to the silence. The silence between her messages was getting longer because slowly, painfully, she was beginning to understand. She had lost access to me. Not because I was angry, because I was done. By the 5th day, the silence wasn't just something she noticed. It was something she feared. Her messages became scattered, uncoordinated, raw. The curated tone was gone. The let's talk calmly persona evaporated. The I didn't mean anything by it angle no longer worked on a man who refused to show emotional weakness. This is where the karmic unraveling began. I didn't orchestrate anything. I didn't need to. She was her own demolition crew. It started with a text from her best friend. Someone I barely tolerated. Someone who always acted like she had a secret scoreboard of who deserved who. Hey, I think you and Rachel should talk. She's been having a rough few days. I didn't reply. The friend tried again. She said you just disappeared. That's not cool. Oh, beautiful. She had started spinning her own version of events. I imagined her telling people he's being dramatic, he's ghosting me, he's immature. Sure, because actually admitting I went to a party, danced all over a guy at work, got caught, and now he walked away without a single word, didn't paint her as the victim. Later that evening, her coworker, the one who slipped, messaged me from an unknown number. Dude, I didn't mean to cause problems. I thought she told you. I didn't reply, but that told me everything. She was blaming him now. She must have confronted him at work, probably in front of people, probably in that sharp defensive tone she used when cornered. I pictured the scene, her raising her voice, coworkers staring, him standing there awkwardly as she demanded explanations for a situation she herself created. When manipulative people lose control, they go feral. A few hours later, she texted again, this time in rapid-fire bursts. Why are you doing this? We can fix this. It was nothing. Are you with someone else? Just answer me. I didn't answer. That night, she showed the first cracks of consequences she couldn't talk her way out of. Is this because of the video? It wasn't that bad. Everyone was drunk. He was drunk too. You should have seen him stumbling. Why did you take all your stuff? That was psycho. Oh, there it was. The fallback. Insult the man who won't engage. When manipulation fails, disrespect. When disrespect fails, desperation. Another text. Can you please just talk to me, please? Her tone had cracked. No more acting tough. No more pretending. She wasn't worried. She was unraveling. And she didn't even realize the best part. I wasn't punishing her. I wasn't playing games. I wasn't doing anything. Her downfall was entirely self-inflicted. The next morning, I woke up to a string of voicemails from her mom's number. A voice I recognized but hadn't heard directly in a while. Sugary, sweet, patronizing, the kind of I raised an angel tone that makes your stomach twist. Hi sweetheart, I don't know what's going on between you two, but Rachel is devastated. We all make mistakes. You can't just abandon her. Yes, the family guilt brigade. I didn't reply. Then she loves you. Relationships require forgiveness. Translation, I don't care what she did. Fix it so she stops bothering us. By noon, I got the predictable final message from her mom. Please call her. She can't sleep. Well, neither could I that first night, though for very different reasons. She couldn't sleep because she was spiraling. I couldn't sleep because I was processing the end of a relationship. But I woke rested, focused, free. Meanwhile, she was crumbling, trying every angle, every voice, every manipulative trick she'd ever used. And none of it worked because for the first time in her life, she hit a wall she couldn't charm, guilt trip, or manipulate. A man who genuinely didn't need anything from her. By sunset, she tried one last rewrite attempt. If you're going to throw everything away over one dance, then I guess you weren't the man I thought you were. I laughed quietly to myself. She still believed she controlled the narrative. She didn't realize the truth. The part that would hit her even harder once she saw it. I wasn't throwing away anything. I was letting go of dead weight. And she was finally starting to understand that nothing she said, not a single sentence, could change the one thing that terrified her. She had lost access to me. And access was all she ever valued. She finally showed up in person. I'd gone back to the city by then, stayed at a different hotel closer to work. I wasn't hiding from her, but I also wasn't making myself available. I was walking out of a coffee shop near my office when I saw her car parked across the street. She was leaning against it, arms crossed, looking like she'd been waiting. When she saw me, she straightened up, eyes wide and frantic. Not at my door. She didn't know exactly where I was staying, but she had figured out my routine, my workplace, the coffee shop I always went to. I saw her through the window before I walked out, standing by the curb, pacing, hair messier than usual, red eyes. A woman who used to obsess over her own image now looked unbalanced. Perfect. I walked out calmly, hands in my pockets, posture relaxed, as if I were greeting a distant acquaintance. I didn't hurry. I didn't stiffen. I didn't react to her frenzied energy. She ran toward me like a hurricane. Why are you ignoring me? She was close, too close, her voice choked, her breathing uneven. I took a step back. Her eyes tracked the distance I created. She hated it. I've been calling you, she continued, her tone wavering between anger and panic. Texting, leaving messages. You can't just disappear like this. It's not fair. Fair, I repeated. Not angrily, just the word plain without charge. She flinched at the lack of emotion in my voice. She wanted anger. Anger is still engagement. But I wasn't offering that. She threw her arms in the air. It was a dance. That's all. A moment of stupidity. Everyone was drunk. Are you really willing to give up everything over this? I didn't respond. The silence stretched. She filled it just like I knew she would. I didn't even do anything. I didn't cheat. I don't understand what you think happened. I pulled out my phone. I opened the video. I held it up, screen facing her. Not aggressively, not accusatorily, just a display of evidence. She slapped her hand over her mouth. Innocently ashamed. And then she said the phrase that sealed everything. That's not what you're taking it out of context. I put the phone away. You hid the party, I said calmly, evenly. You hid the video. You hid the guy. I didn't hide anything, she argued, her voice rising. I just didn't think it was important. There was the truth. She didn't think respect was important. She didn't think loyalty was important. She didn't think I was important. She only cared now because I left. She took another step forward, her voice softer. Can we talk, please? I miss you. I love you. I made a mistake. No, I said. Just that. One word. Her face twisted, not in heartbreak but in lost control. You're being ridiculous, she snapped. You can't judge me based on one thing you saw. You should trust me. I tilted my head slightly. Not dramatic. Clinical. You don't get to lecture me about trust, I said. Not after lying. I didn't lie, she insisted. You didn't tell the truth, I corrected. Same thing. She blinked rapidly, panic returning. So what now? You're leaving me? Just like that? I already left. She caught her breath. That was the first real hit. You can't just leave without a conversation. You owe me one. I don't owe you anything, I said. Not a raised voice, not a shift in tone, just plain fact. She stared at me stunned as if I had slapped her with logic. I continued, you made your choices. I made mine. That's it. Her eyes filled with tears. Not sadness but frustration. She hated the lack of emotional leverage. Please, she whispered. Come home. We can work through this. I swear I'll do better. I'll change. I just need you. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not with nostalgia, longing, or pain, just observation. You lost the version of me that tolerated you. She froze. And that version of me doesn't exist anymore. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again, searching for a comeback. Anything that would give her back the upper hand. Nothing came. Finally, I added the last line. Calm, firm, definitive. You don't have access to me anymore. She stared at me as if the ground had disappeared beneath her feet, and I walked away. No dramatic exit, no looking back, no apology, no softness, just distance. Distance she could never cross again.